Hello, it's Henry here. I just thought I'd take a minute to show all of you how I've configured my new canoe. So right now it's in the configuration I would have if I was paddling. So I've got my double bladed paddle here. Put it out of the way. I have a spare paddle that's just gear tied to the side here. I have a baler, which I also use for carrying gear back and forth. This is my under seat bag, which I really like, and it has my tarp and my umbrella hat and my bug net, my solar panel, things like that, my raincoat. The idea here then is you can get the tarp out and at your campsite without having to open your pack. Coming to the front here, I have my main camera mount right now set up generally for the cell phone. It also extends so I can get up and over the pack and see the left side. Theoretically, this phone has steady view. We will see. It wasn't working last fall, so I pray that it's fixed. I then carry a point and shoot camera, but this one has a 30x zoom on it, which is really nice for wildlife. And it's a little hard in the canoe when you try, if you're bouncing up and down, to take pictures of wildlife, but it works out pretty well. And that's just in the cradle here, so I can grab it quickly if something comes up. Then I have my action camera. This is not a GoPro, this is a knockoff. I have a mount on my bow, which is out of the field of view, which I can use for portage footage. I can also mount it here. I have quick disconnect shoes like this, and then put this guy back on and change the... I also have a pan head and a mount here. So I can use this if it's raining to still do video selfies in the canoe. So when I'm not deployed, the other thing you can see in the foreground here is I can mount this on the underside of this mount here, and that allows me to take close to the water pictures if we're going through a marsh or something interesting like that. Next is my GPS 66i, and it's on a swivel mount. So that way you can try to get the sun angle right, that you can see the screen without having to have the power on. I'll get to these two things in a minute. This is my monocular. It's a little bit easier to use for lighter than a set of binoculars for looking for portage and campsites and interest things. It's not waterproof, so I have a cap that I put over it like so, and then the security strap. I also have a T-handle, and this one has two pieces, so the T-handle will fit on either of the sections of my double-bladed paddle. So I can use either one as a single paddle. I just leave that in here when I'm portaging. That's why we have the cap on it, like so. And the final item here is what I call the canoe restraint system. I'm going to show that in a future video, but basically it's my Larry light bulb idea of being able to hold the canoe against the shore where the get outs or put ins are difficult, and then maybe that gives a little more stability. Now more on that when I test it, so we'll leave that for now. Okay, so this is basically how it would look when you're coming up to shore. I assume there'd be a pack in there, but that doesn't matter for what we're doing here. So how do we switch over? So my interest lies not in going fast in particular, but being reasonably efficient, not wasting time on dumb stuff. So one of the things I wanted to be able to do was be able to reconfigure my boat quickly so that I could move on with the portage. So when we get to a portage, I'm going to get out of the boat, of course, take this off, and it mounts right here. And then we'll take this mount may not be on all the time. That'll depend on where I am, whether I even take it with me. And we just mount this back here, like so. And that might stay there for a few sections of a trip as well, depending on what we're doing and whether or not I imagine it would be useful. I then take my paddle apart, and I have a gear tie at this end, which is smaller than the blade of the paddle, and make sure that that's properly seated, which it isn't right now. Let's see what we can do here. They do get bent a little bit, but they bend back nicely, so it's not a big deal. Then put this one in and clamp it. Now, the reason I used these clamps is because they have rubber grips, so the paddle will not move. And these foamies also work very nicely because this is a bit of a V, so by moving the canoe back and forth I can also balance it, and I can change what part of my shoulder is exposed to the weight. And the canoe is ready to go. Okay, so this is the first test I'm going to do, carrying everything at once. As configured right now, the canoe weighs about 42 pounds, plus or minus. I checked the pack, it weighs about 52, and then this and a few things that are in it probably weighs about 4. So what we're looking at here is something in the neighborhood of about 98 pounds. So a little on the light side compared to some of the heavier loadouts, but close enough. I didn't mention before in the canoe video, I had my point and shoot camera there in a cradle, so I put that in here because obviously it would fall out. Other than that, the canoe's ready to go. One of the things to remember when you're putting it on the back in this system is you can't grab these, you have to grab the gunnel. Now, since the canoe is sufficiently narrow, it's not too bad. Now, we'll see when I have 52 pounds. So let's give this a go here and see what happens. There we go. I was a little bit concerned if I have enough so here we go now. This is the now this doesn't feel too bad at all, to be honest with you. Okay, so I just walked 650 meters without stopping. Now I'm going to transition the canoe back to paddle mode. We'll assume we're in the water, we're close to it. Okay, so we'll see. Okay, the baler is fine. We're going to leave that one for now. Take the paddles off. And we just slide the foamies to the end and put the paddle together. And there you go, you're back in the water. I gamed out a personal equation for this canoe for portaging. It's 10 times, so 10 minutes for every portage. So 5 minutes to configure one way and get out and so forth. 5 minutes to reconfigure at the other end, plus getting back in the water. And then, so forth. So that's the 10-minute per portage. And then 25 times the number of kilometers and fractions thereof for walking. So that's the plan, and we'll see how well I do with it. But that's going to save, on a day where I have 400 or 500 meter portages. When I was double portaging, that was going to take 3 hours and 40 minutes. If the other equation is true, I'll do that whole same distance in an hour and a half, saving fully 2 hours of arguably wasted time. So I'm pretty excited about it, and hopefully everything works continues to work the way I hope it will. I feel very fortunate to have this canoe, and I think these fellows made a very nice job on it for me. Anyhow, that's the portaging story for now. More on it as the trips and my summer continues. Thanks so much for watching.